been trying to be a bit more organised, but I'm trying to use different techniques from before. Because I mean, there's a lot of things where you just write. I mean, I think it's very important to write things down because I look at before I didn't look at it in this way, but when I started looking at it in this way, it sort of a light bulb went off in my head, and okay, I'm going to start sounding really weird now with what I'm going to say. You know me already.
No, go for
You
it.
know me already when I go into my little modes. So basically, I saw it in a kind of dimensional thing where when you write something down, specifically when you write it down to remind you, it's like, this is gonna sound very weird now, but it's like you're communicating with your future self. Yeah. So you're talking to your future self through the medium of the paper. So you write down, you leave it there, and then your future self is seeing the paper it's like a message you sent yourself. That's kind of what's happening without you realizing it. So,
Yeah.
and it's a communication with the past, and it's a communication with the future as well. So when I started looking at it that way, it was like, actually, it's really important to write things down. It's like you're sending yourself messages in the future. You know what I mean? And and then so what I started doing as well, I started doing things like, instead of writing tasks, I started writing scripts. Like I'll start scripting out. Like, I don't know if it's the same sort of thing, but it's kind of like when you're having a play or you're actually having an act where you see these actors perform something, they're going towards a script. So everyone's watching the script for the first time and they just see it happening. But the actors are actually going along a guideline. Yeah. So I sort of saw it more as you're scripting out your life. Like you're writing the script and then you're following the script of the play.
Yeah.
And then I took it to the next level where I was actually drawing. I think I mentioned this to you once before when I was with Wells. So I actually started drawing myself in a comic book type fashion of doing things with a script.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of, it's the same thing, but it's like on a next level, yeah, because you're going quite detailed into actually planning, but you plan it in like screenshots like that. I mean, I've heard of things like that before in certain books or whatever, but not sort of told in that sort of way where you're like scripting out your life. It's more of like, oh, you want a nice car or a nice house or whatever, so you take a picture and put it up on the wall and stuff like that, and it's like, hocus pocus rubbish. But when I look at it as, I'm actually scripting out something, it's slightly different. It's a different mindset of just putting a picture on the wall.
So what are you trying to do? Is it a motivational thing, or is it a reminder of you trying to remember something that you're studying, or what's the purpose of the script? What purpose do they serve? Like, is it just a communication thing?
It's a communication with my future self, because I kind of believe in the whole. Like, there's a phrase that's like, do something today that your future self will thank you for. You know what I mean? Like, so you're giving your future self a present. So your future self, because it's kind of weird, because you have to look at it like your future self isn't you. It's you, but it's not you, because it's you that's gone through more experience. So everything you do now is a present to your future self. And so you do something now that your future self will thank you for. You say, it'll look back and be like, thanks for doing that shit. Because, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's
That's interesting.
it's basically what we're doing anyway, but it's just a different way of thinking about it.
And what do you think? And do you think this actual video right now is part? Could that be seen as doing the same thing or not?
Maybe, because you don't know what's going to result on it. Because sometimes when you watch yourself back, you remind yourself of things that you already knew, and you're like, oh shit. And yeah, it helps you. But yeah, it's good. Like, did you know there was this thing ages ago I saw where this guy had a conversation with his past self or something like that, something along those lines, where he had when he was younger, he talked to the camera and I think he was asking himself questions or asking about certain people that he knows now. And then his future self was replying to the questions that him younger was asking him.
Wow,
and then he did a video of him answering himself. And it was just crazy. It's like two people were talking, but it's the same person talking to himself.
It's a really good question, you know, and it's a really, a really good scenario. And I just think to myself, what would I ask myself?
Yeah, because there could be something you're going through now, or something you're worried about. You don't know what the outcome's gonna be, or whatever, or you know what I mean. And then you might ask yourself, "How did that turn out then?" or something. And then your future self knows the answer.
What would you want to ask yourself? Have you got any ideas what you'd like to ask yourself?
What I would want to ask myself?
I'd say, are you happy?
Yeah, I ask myself that now, though.
Yeah, but even more so. Like, you can ask yourself that on a daily, which is good, or ask yourself on a yearly, even more so, like, you know, like, like you 10 years ago. Did you make yourself happy? Did you achieve your dreams?
Yeah.
Did you make yourself happy? Did you achieve your dreams?
Yeah.